So, I don't really be coming up here and talk about my feelings and stuff. I'm recording off of my old ass iPad. But you know what? It's okay, because we're not here about the quality. We're here about what I'm talking about. When it comes to, specific things in life, I had an epiphany today. I had an epiphany that was so crazy that I realized forgetting myself. I'm forgetting the person I always wanted to become. At the age of 16, I already knew who I wanted to be. Or at the age, I started developing freaking social awareness. Yeah, I always knew who I wanted to be. But 16, I call 16 my prime because I feel like I understood more. I felt like I was heading up on a right track of becoming who I wanted to be. But that all went down once I turned 17. When I turned 17, it's like, okay, now that 16-year-old me has made all the effort and made all this work, and she worked so hard to be in a certain place. Now all I have to do is just keep it. Keep it that way until I keep on evolving and I just get better and better and better. No, that's not what I did. In fact, I did the complete opposite. I quite literally tore that wall apart. I I I I literally had to rebuild my own home. I tore it down and I built it back up, and I'm still building it. It's not Minecraft, but imagine. But I realized I was listening to Black Hole Sun. That's my Soundgarden. You already know. That's my theme song. That's my theme song. And I was listening to it. And when I was listening to it, I had a moment. A really, really whoa moment. Where I just realized I was like, who is she? Who am I? Who am I? I was literally like, who am I? What do I like? Do I what do I want? Who am I? Is everything that I'm doing everything that I love? Everything that I built for myself, is it growing? Is it flourishing? Is it working out the way I expected 17-year-old me? Am I taking care of the creativity, the effort that I built for myself? Am I taking care of it? No. I realized I stopped caring about myself. I stopped caring of what I wanted. And I started thinking of what I actually needed to do. And that's not right. I started forgetting about myself. I started forgetting of who I am, of what I liked and what I would used to do. I had this mentality that, I didn't care, and I still don't care, but I didn't care in a way that was no matter what, I'm gonna keep on moving forward. And everything is always going to be on me. And it's everything that I do is going to be my responsibility and only my responsibility. But then I stopped thinking that way. I stopped thinking in the way that I wanted to think. You know, now I was just thinking of like, what do other people think? You know, am I doing good? Am I good enough? Which is something I've never ever done. I've never asked myself, am I good enough? I just said, okay, I can do better. You know, I'm not a positive person anymore, and I don't like that. I just got back to, all right, now I'm back in the hang of like, you know, going in the path that that I wanted myself to go, you know? And I started doubting myself. I started losing my confidence, and it was pretty bad. I realized like the stuff that I used to like to do, like singing, drawing, skateboarding, listening to my favorite music. I stopped doing everything that was my identity, you know? And now I'm having to pull my identity back, you know? So I had to look at myself in the mirror, and you know, I looked at myself in the mirror and I started crying. And it was because I was listening to like Soundgarden, Black Hole Sun. It gave me shivers down my spine. I was like, oh my gosh, this song brings me so much memories of like when I was younger, and you know, I was figuring myself of who I wanted to be. And I made an oath to myself. I'm like, you're gonna be this person. You're gonna be ruthless. You're gonna be determined. You're gonna dress this way. I had everything planned of what I wanted to be, my dream self, and I gave up on it. And now, you know, after I looked at myself in the mirror, you know, I talked to myself towards the mirror and I said, you know what? You can bring her back. You can still bring her back. And it was a hard moment, and I know I needed that. I needed that because this whole month I've had this weight on my chest that is so bad, that was so heavy, and it hurts, and it hurted, like it physically hurted. And it's because I was losing my creativity. I was losing my joy, you know. And then when I finally looked at myself in the mirror and I said, what are you doing? Lock in. Lock in. Everything that was in my chest just flew away. It just like levitated. And honestly, it was like the best thing ever. And I'm glad that I I'm glad I looked at myself in the mirror and I told myself, I was like, yeah, you can bring her back because you're still her, you know. I got to that point because I was looking at videos of myself when I was younger. Well, not younger, like 3-4 years ago, and I really was determined to be that girl. Be the girl that I wanted to be and not stop and not look back. But what I did now was look back. I wasn't supposed to do that. That wasn't a part of the plan, to look back. So I'm just getting myself together, and hopefully by the end of this year I can get to that point of where I started, and I hope I can finish it this year. So, moral of the story is, don't lose yourself. Don't lose your identity. And don't think of what other people think, because it's like, you know, you say that and you know you're not supposed to do it, but you still do it either way. So you have to remember to keep track of yourself, to keep track of what you really love. Like, people could say, oh, why are you doing this? It's not good enough. But if you love it, then do it. And we forget about that. And it's crazy because we know we're not supposed to be far away from who we are and what we like and what brings us the most joy. But as we get older, it's like, you start focusing on what you have to do, instead of what you really want to do. And you're kind of clashing into, like, what society wants from you and then what you want from you. So honestly, taking a moment to sit down with yourself and say, hey, what do you want, is like the best decision you could make. If not, I literally just started journaling. That's how I know I'm getting old as shit. When I'm literally freaking, like, every single day. Like, it's honestly insane. Like, I have issues, but that's how I'm feeling. And probably in the next video you're gonna see me with pink hair. Hey man, the epiphany changed me. I probably want to go back to my old plans, but that's what I gotta say.